and it is now 3 o'clock on the Sunday, August 22nd, and this is the Day to Day Knits podcast, episode 12. My name is Sara, and I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, USA, with my husband Joseph and our dog Effie, and this is a podcast about knitting. Really, 98% of it is knitting. This will be, I guess, slightly different, just maybe shorter. We'll see. Well, first of all, I want to let you all know that there have been 15 entries to the knit along yearly knit along for this year 2021. And if you are interested in that, all you have to do is start and finish a project this year that was then, well, not then necessarily, but mentioned in this podcast. Well, not necessarily this episode, just, any of the 12 episodes that have been so far filmed in this year, 2021. And then there's a link below to Ravelry, to a group where you can then post a picture of your final object and make sure that you say the title of, the title of the pattern that you have used to enter this giveaway. And it's just year long, so you can enter as many times as you want, as long as it's for different projects. And yeah, and then at the end you may get many goodies of yarn and knitting related things, like really yarn, accessories, maybe a project bag. I've seen some really cute ones online, and I might get some, possibly one with a winter theme, because I will be sending out the bundle for the winter in January, so I think it's fitting. And yeah, and maybe a knitting magazine with patterns and such, maybe a sock pattern for one of the socks that I put out for sale on Ravelry. Yeah, anyway, thank you for the people that have entered. Some of them are actually have entered several times, just with different projects, and it's really exciting to see everyone participating. This episode we're going to add one more pattern to that list that is not out for purchase right now, but will be sometime after September 9th, because that's when the test knitting phase ends. I think it's going to be more of a fall pattern. We'll see. And not quite end of summer. So, what am I wearing? I am wearing the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie. It's just a plain t-shirt. Well, actually, I think that way she designed it was for a sweater, but I just wanted to make a t-shirt with really high contrasting colors. This yarn is Elsebeth Lavold, and it is Silky wool, the base, and I did it in white and mallard, 101 mallard, which is a sort of dark teal color, and I really like it. The yarn is a bit warm. I would not want to be wearing this outside today, but inside I'm perfectly comfortable. Yeah, and I really like it, and I highly recommend it. And it's just a beautiful basic pattern. She does it all in one color, I believe. I just decided to do high contrasting colors that say summer to me. So that is what I'm wearing. No socks today. I think that this is enough to make me warm. If I was wearing something cooler, I'd probably be wearing some woolen socks, because I wear those all year long. For the FOs. So, before I did my last episode 11, I signed up, or I sent an email to Helene from Fable Knitwear to participate in a testing group for one of her patterns. It's a vest, it's a ribbed vest, knit bottom up, and it is called Gondor. And if you do not know, that is a name that comes from Lord of the Rings. And the beacons the beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid, and I answered. It's a bad joke. Yeah, not very funny. Yeah, but there you go. I signed up for testing, and I last time I signed up for test knit one of her patterns, I was a little bit too late. Apparently a bunch of people had already, but she was still looking for some people that were different sizes that she didn't have already. So I got it, and I participated, and I had a month to knit a vest. And well, it took me 2 weeks. I don't think it took me a day over 2 weeks. And I'm really, really happy with it. And I cannot show you the whole like finished object, so I'm just gonna show you the ribbing with the yarns that I used. I used both from Knit Picks, a mohair and a fingering weight tweed, and those are Aloft, Cranberry. I'm gonna post a picture of it, but just in case it blew out, but I think it's sort of showing true color, maybe slightly redder than it is. I think it's less bright than what you're actually seeing, but yeah, just a solid mohair. And the tweed, the color is Garnet Heather. It's a Stroll tweed, and it's a really, really dark red. However, and this is why I'm also going to show a picture of it, without counting the things that make it really look like tweed, which you can see are like not quite speckles, just different fibers in black. There's a little bit of red here and there, like there's a little bit of red right there, and then lots of gray and some browns. This color is really hard to capture on camera. I really tried, and that's also why I'm showing the picture. But the fibers themselves, what looks like a really dark wine red, actually has a lot of colors. It has some red that I would say it's bright red, and then lots of this main color, and then some blacks. Blowing it out, but that's why I paired it with a super bright red, because it already has some red in it, so I thought it would naturally go well together and not look like I have a strand of really bright color with a strand of a really dark color in a way that's extremely noticeable once you have the fabric. So I'll show you the final result. So this became this. I think it looks quite good. See, it's neither one nor the other. And close up. The whole thing is ripped, which I thought would be hard, and that yes, it would take me the whole month to knit, but I had nothing else on my needles other than the blanket, so I decided to not cast on anything until I was done, because I thought I'm going to need all the time that I can, because that is a lot of ribbing. I've never done anything with a lot of ribbing in it. I've done long ribbing and for like cuffs or the end of a sweater, but not a whole object. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's super soft and it's definitely going to be my Christmas vest. It is a cropped vest, as you can see from the picture. She also did hers in a really dark red, but hers is different. I cannot remember if hers is a tweed, but she makes her own yarn. Well, she dyes her own yarn, I mean. And the yarn that she's using is her yarn that you can buy at her shop, Fable Knitwear. She does lots of vintage designs, which are just gorgeous, and I have so many of them on my queue, but this is actually the first one that I'm knitting. And I'm completely done with it. The only thing I have to do is that I still have 5 strands left. I had several strands left, but now I only have 3 that I still have to put away. And one more thing I can say is that I've only used 1 full skein plus almost half this skein. So this is what I have left. I only bought 2 skeins of this, and I only bought 2 skeins of the Aloft. And this one I used only really a few grams. This is 25 grams. I used one completely, a whole 25 grams, and then I used 4 grams of this one, and that was it. So I would say it is overall a pretty cheap pattern, once you think about the amount of yarn that you have to use, because it's a vest and because it is cropped, and it is fingering. If it was worsted, I'd end up buying more worsted yarn. But yeah, I really like it. Once it's out, I highly recommend it. It would look beautiful. And it's not V-neck, so I don't know how some people feel about that. I really like that. If I were to have a V-neck, I'd prefer a very small V-neck, just to have the top button and fastened. And since then, because I finished this a few days ago, I have started 2 pairs of socks individually using the same yarn, sort of. So, oops, sorry for the noise. But I am doing my vanilla summer splash pattern that will be out on Ravelry this week sometime. Oops. It fell. And I'm starting a pair of shorties, just really vanilla. I'm not doing the color work on top, because the color work on top makes it not very stretchy at all. And since I'm doing this as a gift, I did not want to have the lack of stretchiness, just in case, you know. Because for that, I feel like for socks, where that's the part that's gonna go in and not the end of a cuff, I think it's a good idea to try it on as you go, just to make sure that you're not knitting too tightly, because it's not super stretchy at all. So yeah, and this I did just yesterday, and it's the beginning of a sock. You see the cuff, and it looks kind of weird because, you know, I've just turned the heel, but I wanted to show you the yarn. So it's Madeleine Tosh sock, and the color is 2020 exclamation point. That's the color of it. So I don't think it's for sale anymore, but it is gorgeous. 2020, I think, not 2021. I think it's 2020, and it's beautiful. And makes me think, to me, it makes me think of the beach. Some people think of sprinkles. Looks greenish from here, but as you can see, it has many light shades of blue, yellow, and green, with some that tend to the white-ish. I really like it. It's 2-ply, so I feel like that's not ideal for socks. I feel like it's it feels better and it works out better in the end if it's something that has, I don't know how to exactly say it, but more ply, like 4 or something, with more of a twist, you know, like the long dog yarn that I used to make the socks that Inge came up with a pattern for, rustic cable, no, rustic cabin. Those had the ones that I used for that had a like enormous twist, and these don't have as much. But you know, it is the way it is. But it is beautiful, and I know that the person that will get these will also like them, and I think that they will also associate it with the beach. And I'll show you the fabric up close, some of the ribbing at least. It looks kind of messy because it's just on the needles, and I'm not very far along really. But I think I'll be done with the spare by the end of the week. And as you can see, I'm using 000s. I bought them online from a store in the north, not Canada, the north of the US, and that is the Scratch Supply sock. And the women that own that store, there's also a man that is, you know, part owner as well, but he's not in the podcast. But the women, they have their own podcast, and I just, you know, I went to this store to support a little local store. They have really nice yarn. They have one yarn that I've never seen before, and it's super expensive. It's made from an Arctic animal. I cannot remember what animal it is, if it is fox or a rabbit or I don't know, but wow, I would like to touch that and see how that feels. It's one of their luxury yarns that they have available. So from this store I bought the needle. These are Chagu needles. It's the first time I'm using them. I really like it so far. This is a 000 because whenever I do a vanilla, I tend to just get super loose because I'm not doing color work, I'm not doing lace, I'm just super chill, watching TV, and since I'm not throwing, I think that with throwing you get to be a tighter knitter, but since I am not, I'm a continental knitter, it just comes out quite loose. So I'm going down in size just for whenever I do vanillas without any color work or anything. And then the other socks that I'm doing, also using my pattern for the Vanilla Summer Splash socks, I'm going to use the rest of the yarn that I don't use for that first pair of socks, but I'm doing a cuff in a different color, and this is the Clouborn Highland Superwash sock twist. And this color is called Caribbean. And first of all, Caribbean, I think of the beach and nice sand and nice sunny skies. And does it not match perfectly 2020? But really the beach, to me, does not say 2020. It says 2020 is being locked inside. But I think it's gonna look like a very beautiful vanilla sock, and I'm really excited about it. So there we go. That's gonna be it. And this is me diving into my stash for the yarn that I bought a while ago in some sales because I think that they were, I don't know if this brand still exists, or maybe it's just that store was not selling it anymore, but it was a closeout sale. So or maybe the brand still exists and the store still sells it. It's just maybe the base does not exist or the color does not exist. Anyway, so these are my FOs and my webs for this week. I'm gonna try and finish. I'd like to try and finish a whole pair and one sock. Ideally, 2 socks. And then I want to cast on shorts and try to figure out my gauge for the plum sweater that you might have heard me talk about in the last episode. Oh, of course. And I still have the Coziest memory by Kemper Wray, and this was the color that I added a week ago. Oh, it is blanket, in case you don't know. I think I keep saying this, but then I went and check. I go and check, and I always need like a few more squares, but I'm trying to see when I'm gonna get to my next row. And this was today's work. I try to do a square every Sunday. If I don't do it the Sunday, I'm gonna do it the Monday. But this is the Plymouth that I used for some booties that I did. And this is sock yarn that I used to make socks for my friend Samantha. And you might remember those. Those are the embossed leaves. And I ran out of this one, so I couldn't finish the square, so I just moved on to the next color, and that's okay. This is just of all the leftovers that I have, of all the projects that I have. It's gonna be I don't know if you had this in your books when you were like learning history, but in my history books that we had, we started with the dates, like the year, and then it had like an arrow with all the events until the next year. And if an event lasted a long time, maybe it would be blocked with a different color, but basically it's going to be that. I don't know what that is called for my knits. So for my first knit to whatever is the last knit once I finish the blanket for a king size bed, it's just going to be all the colors that I have left over for my projects in order that were used. And when I use one color and then I use it again in another project, I'm not repeating it. I would end up having lots of the same blue, for example. And yes, those are my FO and my 3 whips. And now on to a giveaway. As you know, I'm going to put out really soon, like within the next week or so, a new pattern out for socks that have a tiny bit of color work, as you can see from this picture. And those are the vanilla summer splash socks. They're gonna be out on Ravelry, because that's, you know, I don't have a like proper website, and I'm not doing this, you know, as a job, more as a hobby that I can share with everyone else that, you know, uses Ravelry. So to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is answer 2 questions. First question: what colors would you like to use? Like, I don't know, pink and brown, black and white, neon this, neon that, beige, and a cognac color. I don't know. Let us know. I think people come up with very, very different things, and it's always nice to see just the different things that they come up with. And then the second part is, do you have any suggestions for the Vlogmas that I'm planning on doing later this year? I have a few ideas. For example, I want to share some of my favorite recipes that are easy to make, that don't require a whole lot, and that's gonna be probably a cake. I did this very beautiful cake. It's really holiday-ish. And then Christmas breads, and really it's not the bread to eat with ham, although no one will forbid you. But it's a very spicy biscuit type of thing that you eat, like it's like this big or smaller, that you eat with your tea or with your milk. It's a really seasonal thing, and it's a Portuguese recipe, but you know, depending on where you are in the country or what bakery you go to, the recipe will vary extremely from one to the other. But as a teenager, my mom would just go to this pastry shop by the high school where she'd get her morning coffee, and she would just buy a little bag, and I would take one to have as a snack mid-morning every day, and it was really, really nice. And then the other recipe is probably going to be like a soup recipe, because that's something you have in the winter. And I'm really, really into soup. Not necessarily meaty soups, but something healthy. That's how I like my soups, light and healthy. Anyway, moving on. Do you have any suggestions? I already have quite a few ideas, but I don't know if there's something, and of course I'm going to be traveling, so I'm going to include some of that. But since I've never done this before, if you have any suggestions, any ideas, I don't know, if you have any questions that are Christmassy related and I could insert those, then leave a suggestion for one. Let me know what colors you'd use for the other. And the 000 needles were not my only purchase. I also got some really, really beautiful markers. I'm gonna show you one. Stitch markers. Maybe, I don't know if you can see, but it's what we call in Portuguese a pelota, which is an acorn. I think I must have breathed in the fiber or something. Anyway, it's cute, isn't it? And it is also a clue for the yarn that I have on my advent calendar. You can try to guess what it is. I will not confirm nor deny. But it's something to look forward to. I can't wait to wear these together with that yarn. And I have them just all bunched up together because I'm trying to find a tiny fabric or small container where I can put these in the place that I will not mix them up with the other ones that I already have that are from coconut. So, and those are from @knits, nature inspired goods for knitters, and her things are just beautiful. I love all the stitch markers. I hope you can read that. I don't know if you can read that, but the website is adknits.com, and they are really, really, really beautiful. And I think that that's it. I will go now for a little bit of a dry spell for yarn purchases, except for the Yarnable box, because I went a little bit overboard and I'm gonna compensate for that. But I'm really looking forward to all the new yarns and project bags and stitch markers that will come in the fall, in October and November, and the things that will come up for Christmas. I'm really, really excited. So, well, it's a shorter podcast, but I hope you liked it. I'm sorry I could not talk about the Gondor vest just yet, but I will definitely tell you more about it and about my whole experience with it. I can tell you that using the yarn was great. In fact, I'd like to knit a whole sweater out of those two yarns together. Maybe not that color, maybe a different color, though I really like those colors together, the new color that they make. But as soon as I can, I'll show you what it looks as an FO, and I will definitely talk about it as soon as I can. And this is it. Don't forget to participate in the 2021 knit along, link below, and do not forget to, you know, think of 2 colors for your vanilla summer splash socks. So 2 colors and an idea or suggestion or question or whatever related to Vlogmas that you'd like to see me talking or showing when the time comes. Alright, I hope you all had fun, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Unless I see you first somewhere else, like on Instagram or Ravelry. Alrighty. I hope you all liked. Thank you everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's really great. Thank you. Alrighty then. This is really it. Okay. Bye. Have a good week. Good 2 weeks.